Have you ever thought about moving to Arizona, but your fear of the brutal summer heat always held you back? Well, for 20 years, that was me. Everyone said it'd be like living in Super Mario 3 where the angry sun keeps swooping down trying to kill you. I've survived 3 Arizona summers now, and in this video, I'm gonna show you how to do the same because I'm going to be spending the entire day outside.
So why am I doing this? Well, I work as a realtor in the Phoenix area and I've helped a lot of people move here, but they're all pretty uneasy about how they'll handle the summer because they hear all the time that it's too hot to do anything outside 4 to 5 months out of the year. They think that you'll have to sprint from one air-conditioned space to another or else you'll end up melting like the bad guys at the end of the first Indiana Jones movie after they open the Ark of the Covenant. Doing okay so far? But I don't believe that's true. I think it's possible to enjoy the outdoors, even on one of the hottest days of summer. And to prove that, here are the rules for the challenge today. First, I have to be outside from sunrise until sunset. Now I do plan on going some places today, but I don't want anyone saying that I used my time in the car as a way to make it through the heat. So rule number 2 is no air conditioning, no matter what. And rule number 3 is safety first. Even though I think that you can be outside and enjoy yourself during the extreme heat, being out in it for as long as I'm planning isn't normal. So I'll be checking my vitals to make sure that I spot any warning signs of heat-related illness. Now you might think I'm crazy for doing this, but there are some really great things about summer, and I never thought I would say that when we first moved here. So I think it's time for one of my favorite summertime activities.
I probably golf more in the summertime than any other part of the year. There's 2 reasons for that. First, it's a great way to get outside and enjoy the cooler mornings. And second is because I can play some of the best courses in Arizona at a deep discount. Today, I'm playing Sidewinder, and usually this place is about $200 a round. Today, we are only paying $60. Not my best hit. So we just finished up the round, shot on 95, not a bad thing for me. However, what isn't great is that the thermometer I was using to try to check my vitals gave out. I think it got too hot for us. Error. Is it too hot? Apparently it's not working. Well, so much for that. That isn't great because that means for the rest of the day, I'm probably not gonna be able to keep track of my internal core temperature, and monitoring that is a very easy way to make sure you're not getting heat stroke. Usually if it starts getting to be about 103 or above, you're at risk for that. So not ideal on a day when I'm planning to be outside for the whole day. So the last few holes of a summer round can be really rough. It's gotten really hot out by now. It's probably about 110 or close to it. Usually this is when I'd take some sweet relief from the air conditioning in my pickup. But since that's against the rules today, I'm gonna have to go windows down all the way home and have the hot air hitting me like a blow dryer. Okay, so off. No AC, not today. This is absolutely gonna be the worst part. Just a cool 109 out right now, no big deal. That wasn't the most fun I've ever had. So now that I'm home, I'm starting to have some issues. Not with me, I'm doing all right in this heat. However, I can't say the same for my equipment. I already lost the thermometer. Now this GoPro is not working. It's supposed to be able to tolerate really hot temperatures. Apparently, they didn't build this thing for Arizona. So the camera I'm shooting on now, probably gonna shut down any second. So I'm gonna have to give these things a little bit of an AC break. Me, I'm gonna be sitting out here sweating. I've been outside for about 8 hours now. It's starting to feel like a bit of a long haul. I just feel like I am gonna need a little bit of help if I'm gonna make it through this thing. This is your best friend during the hottest days of the summer. Having a pool changes everything about living in the extreme heat of Arizona. And if you're thinking about moving here, I cannot recommend having one enough. We use our pool pretty much every day, and usually multiple times a day. The upkeep is actually fairly easy. I skim the water a few times a week. What's up, little ducky? Check the chemicals and add what's needed, and I clean the filters probably every couple of months or so. We also haven't noticed a big jump in our water bill from having the pool, so there really isn't any downside, and it gives us something to look forward to in the summer months. So I just toweled off and changed after that very refreshing dunk in the pool, but I can't really stay in too much longer, otherwise I am gonna get one nasty sunburn, which I would like to avoid. It's a little bit after 1 o'clock right now anyway. I haven't had any food for a while, cannot go inside to get a lunch, so I'm gonna have to figure something out, meaning that it's time to see if I can find a place that's gonna serve me outside when it's only 114. So this is another weapon in our battle against the heat of summer. I'm in downtown Gilbert, where there's a ton of shops and places to eat. And when you walk down the street, you'll notice that most of the businesses have these misters going. They are a great way to cool things down by about 20 degrees, which makes it possible to be outside and be comfortable. You can even install a misting system on your own covered patio at home. A system like this one is gonna run you anywhere from around $2,000 to $6,000, depending on how big of an area you're trying to keep cool. But you want to be sure that you're putting in the right kind of system. You'll see a lot of cheap options for sale on Amazon that you just hook up to a water spigot. They're very effective because you're pretty much just hooking up a hose with a bunch of holes in it like you'd use to water your plants. These might cool you off a bit, but they're also really just streaming water and you'll be soaking wet. A misting system like this one runs off of a high-powered pump, and it's more like standing next to a waterfall and won't get your clothes or your furniture nearly as wet. After lunch, I headed home to try to get a little bit of work done, but with the peak heat of the day hitting me hard, I started to wonder if I really could make it through this. I needed to find a way to cool off, but I was starting to run low on options, and then I got an idea. So I just realized that there's something else I can do to beat the heat, but in order to do this, I'm gonna have to endure another ride in that pickup. And it's been sitting in the sun for a bit. Right now, the temperature inside there is right around 130 degrees. And this place is about 90 minutes away from here, so that's gonna be one hot car ride. I decided that it was a risk worth taking, so I hopped in for one last drive. I tried to take my mind off of how hot it was with a bit of dashboard karaoke. I don't care who you are, just beat it! Beat it! No one wants to be defeated! I'm really starting to regret that no AC rule. I've been on the road about an hour now, and this is testing me. It is hot in here. I've got my water, thank goodness, that's saving me. But it's gonna be a long way to get there. I did my best to power through the extreme discomfort of the hot air blowing through my pickup, and just when I was about to admit defeat, roll up those windows and blast my AC, I looked down at my temperature gauge to see the most welcome sight I'd seen all day. So this is our secret weapon when it comes to beating the heat in Arizona, and that's elevation. If you live near Phoenix or Tucson, you're gonna be a very short drive away from some mountainous areas that will drop the temperature anywhere from 20 to 30 degrees. When I left my house in Mesa at about 4:15, it was 117 degrees. And in just over 90 minutes, I made it to here, just outside of Payson, where the temperature is now a very comfortable 92 degrees. A lot of people don't realize how diverse Arizona really is, and that we even have these kinds of places just outside of the Sonoran Desert. But it's really easy to find cooler temperatures in Arizona, and that's one of the biggest reasons why I tell people that the summer heat really isn't so bad. My family and I come up to these places pretty often in the summer. Sometimes we'll stay at an Airbnb or a hotel, and other times we'll just head out here into these massive pine forests and pitch a tent at a campsite. With only a little bit of daylight left, it was time for me to go back down the mountain. I wasn't looking forward to going back to the heat, but with the end of the challenge drawing closer, I wanted to be back in the desert for the sunset. So it's about 8 o'clock now, and we've made it to our final stop. This is Saguaro Lake, which is another one of my favorite cool-off areas. It's still 103 degrees outside, and the people in the comment section are gonna have a fit when I say this, but the moment that the sun disappears behind those mountains, it starts to feel pretty nice out here again. And this is when you'll see a lot of people start to come outside, and all those boats start to get pulled off of the lake. Now, even though I did make it through the entire day without going inside or using any air conditioning, I wouldn't recommend doing this. The heat can be really dangerous, and you need to be prepared for it and read up on the best practices for staying safe during a heat wave. The only reason I was able to survive outside on a day like today is because of one thing: access to water. And yet many people who I talk to are worried about the water supply as Arizona continues to grow.
If that's something that you've been wondering about, then you should watch this video right here, where I will show you what the water supply looks like for the future of Arizona, and also reveal a pretty shocking discovery I made as I was doing my research.